I think that this is not unusual. The misunderstandings between the political actors and the political parties in Iraq about the United States. For very understandable reasons, people believe that their country, whatever country they're living in, is centrally important because it's centrally important to them. And if it's important to them, it must be important to the rest of them. And particularly in Iraq, which was the center of American foreign policy concerns and efforts and the time of American foreign policy makers for a decade or more after the invasion of 2003. I think that the political actors in Iraq, to some extent, got very comfortable with the idea that the United States was giving them a lot of attention and to some extent resources, and that the United States could be used as a balancer against other parties, both within Iraq. You could use the United States to balance against your political rivals in Iraq. And also you could use the United States to balance against Iran and other foreign players who were trying to influence the politics of Iraq. And that became and a very important part of the political strategies of many Iraqi political parties and political factions. But I think that the reality now, as Ustaz Nibras and Ms. Guy have said, is that the United States is not devoting that amount of effort and those resources and that attention anymore. And thus, it's not going to be able to play that kind of role that many Iraqi parties had anticipated and had gotten used to America playing in Iraqi politics. And I think it's really hard to understand that and to internalize that change in terms of the way that Iraqi parties play in to their political rivalries with each other. But let me also make another point, if I could, very briefly. I think one of the characteristics of Iraqi politics in the post-invasion period is that extremely important political forces are outside of the political process, or outside of the democratic process. They're outside of the parliamentary process. When we see the party of Sayyid Muqtada al-Sadr, the largest group after the last election in the Iraqi parliament, leave the parliament, I think that that's indicative of a weakness in the parliamentary system. As Dr. Ali said, the October 2019 demonstrations, extremely important manifestations of public opinion in Iraq, are not, the feelings that led to those demonstrations were not represented in the political sphere of the most recent election. And I think that this is not something unique to Iraq. It's a problem in many democratic societies when you have important political forces that are outside of the parliamentary context. It's very difficult to have stable democratic governance.